Easy E, how are we?
Shawnee, I'm doing a bit better than you.
I should have took your advice on a lot of those glute bridges and single leg work and all the rest because I was in bits. Like to quote last week's episode, it was last week's episode. I was in Niggle City early in that race. I did the Hellevation over the weekend. Great event, greatly run. But feeling it today, and I'm raging in a house that has stairs because I'm struggling.
Yeah, and it's unusual as well because for those who have been listening over the last few weeks, Sean is the guest this week. As it comes with big events, 103 kilometers on the Strava is definitely worth talking about. And Hellevation as an event itself, the Backyard Ultra, people have been listening to the podcast are wondering what Backyard Ultra is. We've talked about it again and again, but this is going to be the Hellevation review with Seán Coffey, the special guest this week. Definitely special. Anyway, look at you. You're in
Yeah,
big.
I like a box of Lego, all right. But it's mad because like even before the start of the event, I'll get into the whole setup in a second. Like this is the first one that's been done on the south side of the border, outside of Dublin. So like it's a sport that's only gonna get bigger and bigger. But the setup is really cool because it's beside this place called the Chicken Coop, and they have like this area that had heaters and stuff and that good bit of coverage and you have your coffees and teas and food and stuff throughout the day we ever need there and enough field space there for your tent and all the rest. And it's like right at the starting line as well. So it's handy enough. It only took an hour from where I am in Kildare to get there. So I'd say for a lot of people, if you're looking for something outside Dublin, this would be the one to go to. And the boys, PJ and Tom, did a great job of just organizing the thing. You knew what was going on. The loops are very accurate, and it was a very, very tough course though.
Yeah, the setup from what I've seen from the photographs, it seems to be like a festival as
Yes.
opposed to we're about to run for days. But it seemed neat and clean and
Mm.
open, and because when we did the one in Barry Johns, you're walking up this track and you're just like, where are we gonna pitch the tent? Like it just seems to have that ease of just arriving set up. Was it easy to get set up?
Oh yeah, like Barry Johns are doing their own thing, and they had just because you have to get a minibus. Well, last year anyway, you had to get parked in Johnny Fox's and get at like 8:30 to get a bus minibus at 9 o'clock up and all the rest and find a way for your tent. Whereas I got there 10:15. Like Barry Johns is only a half an hour down the road from me, whereas Tipperary is an hour 15, and I left the house later for Tipperary to go down there, which is a bit mad. So I got there at 10:15 and all. Like, I was load of field space and all to get set up and get me tents and all done, which Neve did a lot of that kind of stuff. There's a lot more experience me setting up tents. I'm gonna put down sheeted festivals and stuff when you're sure younger, and I didn't do too much of that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, all set up, but just overly prepared the food and stuff. I made a few mistakes last year. I was like, right, I just can't have all the gels and the hydration stuff and all that kind of stuff early because it'll mess my stomach. And I got asked for that very few times the course. So I was set up. Everything was good to go for the start. And it was just I'd never done the course. You're always worried in lap one. You're like, what if I time out in lap one? You put up all your posts and talk with the podcast, all the rest. Because you don't know where you're going, you don't want to go fast or slow and all the rest. Like, what if I somehow timed out in lap one? And that is this would be a very short episode of the podcast if I did.
But for those again, Sean, just a little reminder because the listeners are growing
Yeah.
each week. Just remind us, what is a lap?
So a backyard ultra is a 6.7K loop on the hour every hour. So you have to start at the top of the hour. That's your lap one. You have to make it back 6.7, which is very manageable. Obviously different events. Some of them are a lot flatter than others. This one's fairly hilly, so this one was a little bit tougher. But 6.7, you get back. If you get back at 50 minutes, you have a 10-minute break, and then you have to be in the corral a certain area of the race to start again for lap two. If you miss that starting point for whatever reason, you're disqualified. If after the race starts, you get some sort of assistance, like people handing you food or drink or stuff during that, you're disqualified. So you're on your own during the lap. But once the lap is finished, like I had Neve make me sandwiches and pasta and coffees and pot noodles and everything else throughout the day. Like, so you get crewing is very important to this race throughout the event, but you just can't get assistance during the run.
That makes a lot of sense as to why you proposed to her there a couple of weeks ago. You needed someone to crew you now.
Man,
Was it?
One, there's someone listening to this podcast I know that keeps listening to the intro every week to bring up the proposal. No, I'm not. But two, we were walking into Harvey Norman's on the 2 days before the event to get a proper tent and all set up. And she just walloped me in the elbow, like right in the bone as hard as she could. And it hurt. I was like, what was that for? And she was like, now I know why you proposed 2, 3 weeks before this event. So you helped me do all this stuff. I was like, cold.
Yeah, she wants her wedding. She may stand on the mountain in an orange weather warning. But how was the weather? Obviously, there was a lot of things. Quest Clan de Luck, well done to those who went and did a great event. Unfortunately, the kayak element was cancelled before the event. But how were you going into that with the weather warnings? Were you worried that your tent skills mightn't hold up for the night?
A little bit worried about that. Well, no, not really actually, because Neve's 10 skills, but it's mad you say that because there was a guy down there who signed up for Hellevation literally on the Friday because there was a 12-hour event in County Down that was cancelled because of the weather. And here he is coming down to Tipperary. I'm like, the island's not that big in terms of like how bad this is going to be. And it was on and off rain towards the start. You are sheltered for a fair bit of the course. I'll get into how the course down in a second. Apart from you get down to the very top of the hill, and that's where weather played a big part of it. And it did as the laps went on. Like the first couple of hours rough, on and off from there. It was actually nice enough evening. And then when it got pitch dark, it started to get a bit rough again.
So talk us through it, Seán. Lap one. Tell us about the route.
Lap one, unlike Barry and John's, it's a nice little run through the town for 700-800 meters before you go into the forest. So if you can't run that for whatever stage during the race, you know, okay, my race is done before you get into the forest because it's like small little hills, it's mostly flat. And if you can't run that, you're done. So you come into the forest and then you're up and down a bit. You get a nice long stretch of a run, and then it's an uphill climb for a good 20 minutes. So it's slowly going up a little bit, and then it's insane for not best part of 20 minutes, depends how you're running it. It's just incline, straight up. You barely get time for a small little flat to run a bit. Then you're back into walking uphill. Then you get to around 3.7K, there's a small little turnaround by a cone. And it's somehow, and I don't know how, it goes uphill again. And you're like, this is not possible. You get a small downhill, back uphill again, and then it gets really open around there. And that's when the wind and stuff was kicking in. And then like you're like, look, I remember the first lap I was looking at watch going, it's like 4.5 kilometers gone, and we've gone most of the uphill somehow. This is gotta be a hell of a decline. And that's where I struggled. It gradually goes decline for a bit, and then you come back at this forest area and you start going down steps and like across like these narrow bridges across rivers and down more steps, and it's really hard because you want to go fast to kind of fall into it, but it's just hard, like the trees and stuff there and all the rest. You don't want to go too fast because otherwise you're not stopping, because you do need to break on for the turns, go across the river and down again. Like, so I was like an old man going down those hills. I really, really struggled. And after the first few laps, I realized I needed to get faster to get there, so I'd be able to slow right down before, like, because I was going too fast. By lap 3, my hips, my hamstrings, my ankles and all were in bits. And I was like, this could be getting embarrassing pretty fast. I told people, obviously 24 hours to go, but I was like, I'm starting to struggle here after lap 3. And lap 4, lap 5, that the hamstrings are pretty bad. And I'm like, the massage gun's out already. And I'm at the back trying to get a walking start. And I'm like, this is not going to end well. I could be gone by 6 or 7. And to quote you, I made some deals with the body during the lap 6 or 7. I was like, I need to set goals here. Otherwise, to keep yourself going. Otherwise, this could be a very, very short event for me.
And when you were assessing yourself, what was your lap looking like time-wise? What time were you coming back in at?
Time-wise was 49, 50, 51. Time hadn't changed. Pain was increasing. I was able to keep the same. Everything was staying the same. So with a backyard ultra, I find is you don't go off distance. You go, because you just let the watch roll and you go by time. So 11 minutes I should be here. 18 minutes I'm starting to be inclined. Roughly 30 minutes I'm loop around all the rest. 34 here, 44 at the bottom of the decline and way back in towards the town, or not that town, chicken coop. So that kind of way, Time was the same. I was just very sore. I was just and like I was just like the massage going, everything going on. I was like, this could be over at this stage. So I told myself if I can get to like a PB, because I knew then and there 24 hours can't happen. I was like, if I can get a PB or if I can get into like the final 15. So what they did was for the Leinsters, Munsters, and the other ones, if you get into the top 15, you qualified for the All Ireland in August. And I was like, if I get into them, I won't do Barry and Johns. I'll let the body recover. I'll start building up my runs towards that again and give a real good go towards 24 hours. Otherwise, you're stuck doing Barry and Johns. You're not ready for it, and you're going to die a dead again. So find a fucking way. So we get to lap 6, lap 7. I'm have the Voltron stuff on me legs and massage gun and all the rest. And we might need to have a talk about whether we include this part of the podcast. But one of the lads gives me this big bottle with a cow on it. What the hell is this? And he's like, oh, it's like, I can't even describe what it is, but seemingly there's like it loosens up the cow from milking or something like that. I was like, I can't put I was like
what kind of show is this turning into, John?
I was like, what the hell is this? And like I like here's how sore I was. I was like, beg it, I'll put it on my legs. And only as another lad came and goes, oh, I'll have some of that and put it on as well. Unto that point, I was like, the boys are taking the piss out of me. Because Dara, who's in the podcast before, was there. Wayne, who had ran out last year in May, and a lad named Rory, who's doing organize a Barron Way halfway or something like that, half marathon. I probably should have looked at it before doing this podcast. I'm very tired. But I was running with them a fair bit in and out, and I'm not saying those lads. Someone gave me this bottle, and then someone else took it. I was like, is this a thing? But Eric, lap 8.
You were ready to be.
I was a new man.
And say you were ready to be milked. That's wrong. No,
Jesus.
And what
I don't know. So I was feeling the pain in my hips, my hamstrings, and the next lap, I wasn't feeling as now. This is bro science. I am not saying buy this stuff. Not that I could say what the stuff is. Like I genuinely can't remember. Could be the same as DP. It could be, it could be the exact same as Michael Jordan's secret stuff, and it was all in the head. But I smelled very minty, and I was back on track again towards lap 9, and it was starting to get a little bit darker on that stage. So the head torches came out, and then it just got miserable. The weather got miserable. It was dark. People were starting to drop off a little bit at that stage. And it was like, like everything else around it was great. Don't get me wrong. A lot of great runners, a lot of people talking to me with the podcast and all the rest. I think it was Aoife, one stage I was laughing, and Aoife was like, you hear that laugh anywhere? And I was like, oh, this is the podcast. Oh, that's deadly, y'all kind of way. And that kind of stuff was cool. But I wasn't as sore, but just getting really tired. And I think it's because I haven't done enough like evening runs, late night runs, that kind of thing. By enough, I mean none at all. So if I don't do anything by 8, half 8, that's usually my day. I'm up at 6 the next morning for work and all the rest of it earlier. Start at 6. But I haven't done evening stuff, but I just felt tired at that stage. It's like my bed is calling me. Try to keep going.
So I was actually monitoring. They were doing a really good part that I liked, and probably aided by where they were when people got knocked out. It was like a crime scene photo. They dragged them in and photographed them. But it was absolutely brilliant because I was getting the updates each hour, seeing the DNFs coming through, which is I still think is so harsh, but the DNFs coming through. But I kind of had a feeling from looking at their facial expressions that it was miserable because they all looked very happy to be inside the shed of whatever it was.
One of the lads, we had the podcast years ago. Remember Ruben? We had the podcast years ago. Yes. So he was down there crewing for someone, and he said to me that the first 4 or 5 laps, everyone was buzzing, but it came a point where the mood kind of changed, and then we got an hour where it was like real sunny, and there was more people there to support, and that uplifts us, and then it kind of went a little bit down again. But everyone kind of started to pack closer and closer together. So the first few hours when I was doing my 21 minutes here, 30 minutes there, like there's a lot of people further ahead or further behind. But I found like a lot of people were getting closer and closer to around that time. I was like, oh, it's actually got a little bit closer. And then they start pushing a little bit ahead. And I thought they're pushing ahead. I just kept dropping back and slightly missing my times here and there. I was like, I don't know how many hours I left, but the food and stuff went great. No issues unlike last year. I was a lot smarter with, I was getting whole food into me. But I got to the point where it was like probably lap 10 or so, it was hard to eat food. It just like just the idea of eating food was just like I can't put any more inside me. I feel sick of the thought of it. Like just eating food. So just trying to get some fluids in, Lucasades, all the rest, and just try and keep going from there.
And so talk us through the night phase. Obviously, the last time I was with you, you had dog shit lampshades on your head because your lights would fail and this would fail. How
I
was it getting
bought
night?
two good lights. So I got one in Halfords. Sorry, no, sorry. Neve's dad got me one in a good farming shop, and the other one I got in the Run Hub. One lad there was very, very helpful for me. I went in Wednesday, and some tall guy, great jumper. If you're listening, thank you very much because he got it was a decent, good light anyway. That would. I was full sure with two of them. They both had like 8+ hours each of them. I was like, they will get me through the night if I get that far. So definitely no issues with lights or anything this time. Just trying to keep going. And then it was like around 20 plus people for so long. And I'm like, this is not dropping. This is not dropping. It got to loop 12, and there's always markers in this. Some guys are their full marathon, they're gone. 8 hours is a cutoff point. Some people go, you know what? I'm only here for 8 hours. I don't mean only, but I'm here for 8 hours. Get this distance in, I'm gone. 10 hours does mean they're cut off, and then 12 is the kind of halfway point, your 80K. So it was couple of 12, and I was feeling miserable at this stage. I just wanted to be done. And there was 19 going out to start for lap 12. And then lap 13 came up, and I was trying to have some more noodles and stuff into me. And as I'm starting to run out the gate again, I heard PJ counting through them. He goes, 15. I'm like, so I'm in the top 15. I made a deal with myself. This is it. And it was just a nice little, that deal with the body worked. And I actually felt better that lap because, like, no offense to the guys, I'm like, thank fuck I'm not doing Barry Johns next month because I'm not ready for it. So it was only a case of how long I'd last. And then I was doing 49 to 52. Lap 13, I think it was 155. I was like, okay, lap 14 could be the swan song. And it was clear enough, like it was dark, obviously, but it wasn't too windy. It wasn't too rainy and stuff. So lap 14, I was like, this is the victory lap. I get through once lap 14 is done. Whether I get in or not, I like if I get in the time period, I'm like, I'm gonna call it there. I got in the last 15, lived to fight another day. The body's starting to get pretty sore again. There's no cow juice or whatever it is to put on my legs. I'm not going through that again. And I got in at 1:57:30, and I was talking to Wayne, who ended up winning the thing in the end with 25 hours. And he's like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Wayne, I'm done. I'm that's I've no more. I know if I go out, I'm not making it back. There's no point." So I came in and Neve's there with a can of Coke, a bottle of Lucasade, and a bottle of water as well. 'Cause she knows I'm not able to eat at this stage. And I said, "Nah, Neve, don't need it." She said, "What?" Because I'm done. Yeah, no, you're not. I'm like, no, I'm fucked. She's like, no, get the fuck back out of there and go again. Sure, Lucasade. One or two. Dara came in for me as well. Seán, come on, you coming? I was like, right. Here we go. I was like, so I ran the first 800 meters, and the lads start getting like further and further away from me. I was this my times instead of for 2 minutes, it was 3 minutes. But 5 minutes, I say around 10 minutes into this thing, the heavens opened, and it was the worst rain I've been in a long, long time. It was like hail, like Neve said, during it, the water was like literally coming down the roads, and she was like, yeah, no, he's done. Like this knocked out. Like 3 or 4 people I heard came back and were like, I'm done. That's too much. So it really put, like, no pun intended, put a damper on things. I think I got back in maybe 20 minutes into the next hour, 25 minutes into the next hour. They're about to send a search party out for me. I couldn't run or nothing. Like I got to the top of the hill, and the rain stopped around half hour in, and I was just walking. I was just in a heap. I was like, I've nothing left. It's just take it in. You're done. I was shivering with the hands in the pockets. I'm like, well, at least I get 100K in, so I'm happy out there. So yeah.
Neve didn't put on the backpack like me and go and try and hope we're dead, no?
No, no, no. She just sat there waiting for me to eventually come back in. She's like, well, it's because she wouldn't know where to go, like, as well. So I was like, well, he'll come in at some stage. Because she said before coming out, she's like, you will finish. I'm not coming into the mountains after you. I'm like, thanks, Steve. But in my defense, in her defense, I did put it on the Instagram post beforehand. I was like, I can't quit in the seat. So she was right to send me out there, but she just sent me out on like the worst.
Worst hour.
Oh, by far the worst hour. Like I was proper shivering. And that's where like the chicken coop came in great because Neve had a dry robe for me. I changed my clothes, dry robe, took the prison photo as you call it, not in the dry robe. I couldn't do that. Take the robe off that, shake her like, hey, 2 thumbs up. And then I was like right underneath the heater of the robe. And then Neve's sister had brought down a hot water bottle, but it was like the shape of a fluffy cow with the head and all on it. So like Neve came in, it's just hands to me. All the lads, I was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "I don't fucking care." Someone take a picture of Seán with his fluffy toy. I'm like, "No, I need it."
And how did it feel finishing? Obviously, the last time I was there with you, it was had to take off your socks, I had to take off your shoes, I had to carry you to the car. How were you in this
Neve did the
time?
same.
Yeah,
Yeah, Neve would do the same. So
it
we
was
went
that
that room to
bad.
change. Yeah, I was that bad again. I couldn't take my socks off and nothing. Like I had to put my hands up in the air for her to take the jumper and stuff off me.
Oh,
Um,
God.
I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't. It was once again, it was a different kind of pain though. It didn't come in all of a sudden. It was on and off. So I need to get more miles in the legs. This one in August, um, is seemingly a flatter one, so it'll give me a chance. But the event was great. Times during it where I was like, what am I doing to myself? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? Like, had you done a marathon, you would be doing 8 hours ago. You'd be in a pub right now. You might be in bits, but you'd be in a pub. But that's it. I mean, it was easy. Everyone would do it. So it is rewarding afterwards that kind of way.
So tell me, were you ever looking at the pub going, fuck this?
Oh yeah.
That is so much
Absolutely.
danger. At least in the Barry and Johnsons, there's nothing. There's no
Just
temptation there. It's just you and the mountain. But with that
yeah.
one, like, there's temptation every lap. There's probably food inside. It's nice and warm. And what happened then? Did you just get in the tent, try and get a couple of hours sleep, or did you hit the road?
Um this is the part where Neve wanted to kill me because I was shivering in the corner of the heater and she had the tent all wrapped up to put in the truck. So um yeah, she'd packed the tent. I was literally useless at this stage. So I'd say we hit the road around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. No, was that right? Yeah, around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So I got back here around 6, had a shower, and then I was in and out of sleep then for the next 4 or 5 hours. Any which way I moved was sore. My feet were all blistered up, like, and just yeah, it's a typical what you put yourself through. I didn't change the runners this year. I got to a point where I was like, I don't trust the other pair. I'm stick with this. So I had the Hoka Cliftons on. I was like, well, they're not comfortable. So, but I kept changing the socks every couple of hours, changing the clothes every couple of hours. Because otherwise, you'd be really really cold doing that, and especially with the rain and stuff.
And did you pack any more clothes knowing that the weather was going to be muck, or how much kit did you bring?
I brought a big bag load of kit, but I've got to bring. I had like 2 or 3 long sleeve tops, but like unlike Barry and Johns, it wasn't warm enough for t-shirts. I just thought
Yeah,
when you're running long enough, you think you wear a t-shirt, but because you're stopping every fifth, for 10 minutes every hour, you kind of get cold again. And it takes a couple minutes to warm back up. So
yeah.
I had a big bag of clothes. I had 3 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs. I think I only used the one. I was like, nah, I'm just when you get your head something during the race, like I'm sticking with
Uh,
this. But yeah, no, it was a great event. I'm looking forward to August, but I just need to get a lot more runs in. Maybe even like I don't maybe like shorter runs because I'm struggling to get like that big time block to get in. But if I got like a shorter run in the morning, evening, and gradually build up mileage that way, maybe. But it was good.
get yourself a Stairmaster.
Building a house, I'm getting no more equipment. Well,
I get on one of them for 10 minutes there during the week and it had me in a jocker. So that's my
I saw
backyard
you
ultra
there. Did
career
you have that?
over.
Did you have it in your Strava or something? You had Stairmaster or
Yeah,
something, right? Yeah, I saw that. I meant to ask what that was the story with that. They're
yeah.
tough.
It wasn't enjoyable.
No.
But I it was the only thing I thought about for the 10 minutes I was on it breathing heavy. Was like, Seán could probably do it one of these for this backyard ultra.
For the hilly ones, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So looking at that, okay. So where was your final position? Where was your DNF? What position were you in or joint?
Tico's. I think a few people got in and finished lap 15, and I didn't, and then came back out. I think 13 or so went out for that lap. So I'd say I was the third. I know two of us DNF that one, so I say I was around 13th.
And that qualifies you. And where is the
I
oh
don't know exactly. I just know it's up north. I think it's either Florida Manor or Florence Court. They've very nice names for it. Like, it sounds cool. It sounds cool to say you're a
it
Florida
sounds
Manor,
like
like.
24 hours of suffering.
But yeah, so yeah, that's August. So that's the plan now, is that Barry Johns is out. I know that if I go Barry Johns, I might get 16 or 17 laps if I really shred the hills over the next month, but I'm not getting 24. And the worst thing is even worse, I feel like the body could just be like, Seán, you're an idiot. There's only so many of these 24-hour runs you could do. So that's why I'm just like, you know what? I made that deal journey. If I somehow get through over the slump and get that top 15, I'd go for the second attempt for the 100-mile in August instead.
So let's talk strategy while we're here. What is the plan now? August is the new target. Listen, you're 12 hours off the mountain, so I'm not expecting much, but
Sleep.
take marathons, take other plans. Obviously, this is now a goal that we're going 24 hours in August. That's what you're saying. That's what we're hoping to do. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to go from that 15 hours to 24?
Obviously, the shortest answer is increase the mileage. The longer one is that I need to. My running is always morning, afternoon, and I feel like a bitch saying this, but I felt just tired. Do you get me? I know last year, like,
Sleepy.
oh, I'm sleepy. It's so bad. Someone's bedtime, is it? But I
That's because
just felt
Nate
like
was
that.
there. If I was doing it, slapped the head off you.
Probably needed that. But I just felt tired. I remember like it's getting like 11, 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh, it's 2 hours after bedtime. What am I doing? But I just felt like, now my head was light. I felt like getting sick in that last lap as well. Like, that's when everything started going wrong with me. But I think it all started because of tiredness. It felt like that. Um, like the body wasn't as sore as it was last May, but I know for last May I had the treadmill and I was running on that at night time for an hour or 2 hours, that kind of thing. And I wasn't doing that this time. I think the body was just used to, well, here's where we start shutting off now. So I do need to get longer. I need to build the mileage again. I need to get, I think I might start doing 2 days on a Sunday or something. Get an evening run in, the morning run in. So I might run as long in the morning, like a 10, 15K or something like that, and then get another 10, 15K in the evening. And build up to that, obviously not straight away. So I'm doing like 2 1 hour blocks instead of trying to get 2 3 hour blocks first thing in the morning and go from there. So I think I need to do more that kind of thing. If I was doing Hellevation again, it would Barry and Johns. It's now there's pros and cons to both. Barry and Johns is a big foggy park in the middle of it. That's just rough. No matter what, that's rough to get through. But with Hellevation, you really the rest of Barry Johns is it's like steady incline, decline, if that makes sense. Whereas Hellevation, it's literally a drop. It just feels like a drop for that last kilometer, 2 kilometers. Now, I haven't said that. People around me seem to be fine doing it. But I know that banging of the hips and the knees and stuff, I was really struggling trying to control myself going down the hill. I couldn't get efficient with it. I had to like almost go to a walk. And even then, trying to walk and fall forward is a lot harder than it sounds. So I would definitely say a lot more trails if I was to do that one again. I definitely pop down to it next year though. I'd have no issues doing that.
And then, well, I suppose Barry and Johns, I know you said, no way, I'm not going for my 24, but maybe 8 hours of it, maybe 6 hours training session.
I see how the body feels, but then I see how at the moment you're catching me 6 7 hours after sleep, and I was just like, I told myself,
Ironman.
true, and I did think about that. I was like, well, I did this is earned here, and I realized I'm waffling throughout this podcast. But I don't think I will because I told myself during it, I was like, if I get through this, you're not doing Barry John's. I'm doing that Mondello 24-hour thing in June, but that's only a 1 hour cycle every 4 hours because there's other people doing it. So I'm not considering that really a challenge in that respect because it's not a PB thing. And then August then is the next big one. But I just feel like I need to just build it back up again. Do a
Yeah.
couple of shorter races and go from there. And then after August, then it's Dublin Marathon.
And definitely a couple of runs, undulating terrain. There's going to have to be a couple of your Sundays with a head torch on in the hills
Yeah.
at sunset, you know. Obviously being in the summer, you've got the benefit that you got your bright evening up until 10 o'clock and then it gets dark. So you're already pushing that late element, you know, you can add in that late past my bedtime training in a little bit better spirits because it's not freezing, miserable and raining,
Yeah.
hopefully. So yeah, I think all in all, August is a good plan. It's far enough away for recovery. The cycling's probably not a bad idea now either. And
Mm.
get recovered. But yeah, it's regardless, it's still a fantastic achievement. Still 100 kilometers. It's still I text Neve during it because I seen the video of you leaving the starting block and I was like, oh, he is not in a good way. And
But
it's
you know
there.
what that was? We're in like this narrow area for it, and like it doesn't make that much difference in your front and the back. But near the back, I was literally grabbing a pole and just leaning down, sitting down off that pole, and just stretching the back and trying to loosen the hips as much as I can. And that initial start, I just couldn't get going. So I was like, well, I'm walking here to get in a bit of a flat, and then I'll be able to get going from there. But that happens as lap three. Like I was just like, this is not good. I'm the last person every time coming out, and the body just feels like he could be done here. And I'm like, just go with it, I
I just
suppose.
I text Neve saying, just tell him at 100K to go home, will you?
She wouldn't have if I finished that 15, if I finished that 15 in the time dredge, she would have set me out again for lap 16. And look, I told her to do it. I said, whatever, I can't quit sitting on the seat. But yeah, no, it was good. Jay Redmond, by the way, who was on the podcast a couple months ago, he came second.
Very good.
He came second. He got I think I want to say 25 laps and then Wayne did 26 by himself.
Yeah,
Um
Jared did say he just wanted to do the 24. He wanted to give it a rock and see how it went. So obviously, I'm not going to speak for him, but
mm,
when you make a deal with yourself and
mm.
you hit that target, then you're kind of like, oh, I didn't really plan on being here for 2 days. You know, like it's it's I'd imagine that's the deal I'd be having
Yeah,
when
I was
they
only talking a small bit now, so I'm not too sure now. But I'd say he looked comfortable up there, and Wayne looked very comfortable. And because there's no offense to anyone else, I only knew a few people down there, but straight away I was like, those two, one of those two are winning it. So during the race, people asked me like, Wayne or Jer, I'm telling you, they're like it was one or the other. I'm like, trust me, these two are up there. And then Wayne at one stage, if he's listening, he said to me, "Who's next to the podcast?" And I turned to him, and I said, you when you win this thing. So Wayne.
a million euros or come onto the podcast, Wayne.
On that note.
Um, Absolutely brilliant. No, but look, I'll get slighted now for giving you praise, but no, absolutely brilliant. Great effort. Something that wasn't really planned. You were supposed to be in Quest. Glad you didn't now with a cancelled kayak and
Delighted.
all that. So, and now you're qualified for the All Irelands. And 24 hours this year is a great target to have. It doesn't have to happen, but it's a great target to have. And you're going to be on the big stage with a lot of big personalities and some super athletes.
Mm.
So, you know, you're probably going to look at a race where 24 hours is probably going to be the minimum for people.
Oh yeah, definitely this stage. And there was a lot of people there that day. Oh man, to wrap this one up, the Goggins quote, uncommon among uncommon people.
Yeah.
So when I was talking to lead up this to people about it, telling about it, going for 24 hours, everyone's like, that sounds mad, that sounds insane, whatever. When I was down there, like every second person, what's the goal? 24 hours. I'm like, I'm very common among uncommon people around here. There's a fair few of us that are all like, we've no idea how far we can push it, but 24 would be nice.
Absolutely brilliant. But look, it's an achievement nonetheless, and fair play to Nave's support, fair play to all the
I'm there.
friends and families and partners in crime who went down to support everyone who does it, especially in that miserable weather. It's a pity for the event. I don't think it's a representation of the event. I think if you have a sunny day down there, you've got a different atmosphere, you've got a different fun, and it's but days like that.
It's set up for a great kind of I don't know what you call it, that there's a certain name for it, that starting point each round, but it's set up like,
Festival atmosphere, I suppose. It is set
yeah,
up
it's
like
set up very well for that. If they've a sunny, and there was parts of it where it was really cool, but if they've got the good weather for that'd be, and that's only going to get bigger and bigger each year. Elevation, it's the first one, so a lot of people don't know too much about backyard ultras, but that's going to get bigger and bigger, and it's set up for as well. I think the location's great because it is very close for other people to get to. But before we wrap this one up, one person who told us about it, Kira got on to us before the Hellevation podcast. I saw her at the end of lap 15. I was like, Kira, if you ever recommend anything to me like this again, I'm gonna kill you. But no, she was a great help and stuff down there. So definitely shout out Kira.
Yeah, and well done to all involved in organizing. Glad it was a success. Glad we were able to help on the journey. Glad you were able to put your body on the line to go down and give it a go. And now qualified for something. So another target for you. So absolutely brilliant. You were an okay guest, Seán. You did an okay intro for yourself. So it's been a very good episode. Keep an eye out over the next little while to those who are looking for an old foreign marathon. Myself and Seán are scheming, and that's all I'm going to say at the minute. We are scheming. I'm just waiting on a few emails back, and then we'll probably have more information on that over the next couple of weeks. And then we're back into our guests from next week. And it's been a great episode, Seán. You've been an average guest. You were an average runner. Well done.
Great.
But you're a better man than me. 100K in the bag, and an All Ireland to come. Your Mosney day is coming, Seán, at long last. So it's a big one. It is a big one. But for those who are tuning in and listening, thank you very much for listening. This has been the Any Given Run Day podcast this week. From myself and average Seán, no, great Seán, DNF Seán. Take care.
I'm going to bed. Bye.